Yao Ming, the 7'6" Hall of Famer, whose career was surrounded with excitement and expectations before his career was ultimately cut short due to injuries. Today, we're delving into that as we evaluate his talent, legacy, and hindered potential, and we'll start as we always do, at the beginning of his NBA career. Yao was selected with the first overall pick in the 2002 NBA draft by the Houston Rockets. The Giant center's arrival to the league was met with plenty of hype, but also with an equal amount of skepticism. Although Yao was extremely successful playing basketball in China, many knowledgeable analysts doubted his abilities and that his game could translate to American basketball. He also had the reputation of being a soft, finesse type of player, and because of that, quite a few people thought he couldn't survive in the NBA. Among those doubters were even guys like Bill Simmons and Dick Vitale. On TNT's Inside the NBA, Charles Barkley said he would kiss Kenny Smith's butt if Yao scored more than 19 points in any game during his rookie season. At the start of the regular season, all of those analysts appeared to be very correct. In his debut performance versus the Indiana Pacers, he scored 0 points, 2 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and had 3 fouls in only 10 minutes played. In Yao's first 6 games of his NBA career, he averaged 3.3 points and had less than 5 rebounds in 5 of those 6 games. I can only imagine if social media and NBA debate shows were like they are now. People would have been claiming Yao as one of the biggest busts of all time during his first 2 weeks of his NBA career. But by his 8th game in the league, it would be time for Charles Barkley to pucker up, because in a 4-point victory over the Los Angeles Lakers, Yao would drop 20 points on a perfect 9 of 9 shooting from the field. It's important to note that Shaquille O'Neal did not play this game due to an injury. 2 games later, Yao would show that not only is he capable, but he was on his way to being a serious force in the NBA, as he dropped 30 points and 16 rebounds on 83% shooting versus the Dallas Mavericks. Yao was a bit streaky in his rookie season, but for the most part, he continued his solid play. 2 months after his breakout game against the Mavericks, Yao would face the true test of being a great center in the NBA at that time. They would once again be facing the Lakers, but this time, Shaq was healthy and ready to go. The matchup lived up to the hype, as Yao denied Shaq on his first couple attempts, while also scoring on the diesel on his first 3 possessions. Shaq would eventually put up a good performance, while Yao slowed down a bit, and the Rockets won the game by 4 points. At this point, any doubt that Yao could compete and thrive against the competition was now gone. By the end of his rookie season, Yao had averages of 13.5 points and 1.8 blocks on 50% shooting in only 29 minutes per game, good enough to finish 2nd overall in the Rookie of the Year voting. Quite the impressive leap from his first 6 games. At this point, people could see that the early criticisms of Yao were actually his greatest strengths. Sure, his game had a lot of finesse to it, but he had terrific footwork as a big man, a solid mid-range game, an extremely reliable and indefensible jump hook shot, and he was an incredible free throw shooter as he shot 83% over the course of his career. His game would continue to improve over the next couple of seasons. Heading into Yao's 3rd year, the Rockets had just acquired a 25-year-old Tracy McGrady in a blockbuster trade. Now, the Rockets were seen as title contenders and had expectations to live up to. This 3rd season wasn't the best of Yao's career, but it would be his last completely healthy year, as he averaged 18.3 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 2 blocks on 55% shooting. The Rockets won 51 games and were heading into the playoffs as a 5th seed. Ultimately, they lost in the first round in 7 games to the Dallas Mavericks. But Yao certainly did his part, as he averaged 21.4 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks on 65% shooting over the course of the series. Of those first 3 years, Yao played in 244 out of a possible 246 regular season games. The injuries that would begin to labor him, we couldn't have seen coming. Heading into his 4th season, Yao was coming off of a surgery on his left foot and missed the first 21 games of that season. Despite that, he was still selected to be an All-Star for the 4th year in a row. It took some time for him to get back into the swing of things after the foot surgery, but after the All-Star break was when we saw some of Yao's best basketball, putting up numbers of 25.7 points and 11.6 rebounds on 54% shooting and 88% from the free throw line. Unfortunately, Yao wasn't the only Rockets star who was plagued with injuries, as Tracy McGrady missed nearly half of the season with severe back spasms, and as a result, the Rockets were on their way to missing the playoffs. To make matters worse, with only 4 games left in the regular season, Yao broke his left foot, the same foot he had surgery on just months prior. What was incredible was that despite his left foot injuries trying to ruin him, he was still ready to have his best season yet during his 06-07 campaign. Through his first 26 games that season, he averaged 26.8 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 2.3 blocks, and was being mentioned among the MVP candidates. But in the 27th game against the LA Clippers, Yao contested a shot that resulted in him breaking his right knee. He would return in time for the playoffs, although they would go on to lose in 7 games to the Utah Jazz. From this point on, the injuries just continued to get worse, as he had more fractures in his feet and ankles. His career was essentially done by the age of 28. Sadly, we never got to see the true prime of Yao Ming. His major injuries began when he was only 25, and he was out of the league just a few years later. Here's just a few examples of how other great big men would have been affected if their career was done by the age of 28. Shaq would have had his rings cut in half from 4 to 2, and David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon would have had 0 championship rings. Unfortunately, there was an entire second half of Yao's career that we never got to witness due to his feet and knee issues. But sometimes, that's just how it goes with these towering big men. Yao Ming wasn't just good, but when he was healthy and on his game, he was an all-time great. To really emphasize how unique and special Yao Ming was, let me put it this way. There have been 8 players in NBA history who were at least 7 foot 5 inches tall. Of those 8 players, they have a combined 8 All-Star selections, and Yao Ming has all 8 of them. Most of these players were stiff and were not skilled enough to even average 10 points a game on their best years, while Yao Ming, on the other hand, was putting up 25 and 10. The biggest guys the league has ever seen are usually just that, really big guys. But Yao was that and a fantastic basketball player. The injury-plagued Houston Rockets that were led by Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming have become one of the greatest what-ifs in NBA history. Let me know in the comment section if they would have won championships if they had remained healthy. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.